Music hold ended.
Welcome to the Arapahoe County Board of County Commissioners special meeting today, September 28, 2020. And I'll call the meeting to order. Joining us today are Ron Carl, County Attorney, Jolene Sanchez, Clerk to the Board Administrator. And Jolene, if you would call the roll of the board, please. And Commissioner Jackson is absent and excused.
Commissioner Conti?
Good afternoon, Jolene.
Good afternoon. Commissioner Sharp?
Here.
Commissioner Baker?
Here.
And Commissioner Holland?
Here. Commissioner Conti, would you please lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Mr. Carl, do we have any modifications to the agenda this afternoon?
Yes, I would ask that both item 5A on your consent agenda, which is the 2020 Uniform Business Personal Property Exemption, and 5B, which is the County Board of Equalization Decisions, Personal Property, be pulled from the consent agenda and heard instead as general business items.
Thank you, Mr. Carl. With those modifications, I'll entertain a motion to adopt the agenda as presented as modified.
I so move. Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Holland, seconded by Commissioner Jackson. Oh my gosh. Commissioner Baker, in favor, please say aye. 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 Opposed? Abstentions? Hearing none, motion passes unanimously. This is the time in our meeting where we have citizen comment. Is there anyone who would like to speak, Michelle, on anything that is not on the agenda this afternoon?
Commissioners, we have no one in the queue for public comment at this time.
Thank you. Okay, I'll close public comment and we'll move over to the consent agenda and ask for a motion to approve the consent agenda as modified.
Madam Chair, this is Commissioner Baker. I would move to approve the consent agenda as modified. Second.
Okay. Motion made by Commissioner Baker, seconded by Commissioner Holland. All in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Hearing none, motion passes unanimously. Now, we have let me go back up here. So, what was item 5A, which is the 2020 Uniform Business Personal Property Exemption, we will go ahead and open the public meeting on that. It's not a public hearing, but we'll open the public meeting and have a presentation on that, and that will be, not sure who's doing that. Our attorney on this matter has been Schwartzendruber, Assistant County Attorney, and is...
Ben, do you know who's going to make the presentation on this? I will. And Robin Mullicon is on the phone. We need any additional input on it.
Okay.
So,
go ahead.
So this is annually the Board of County Commissioners determines whether to increase the statutory exemption amount for business personal property. This year, the statutory amount is $7,700 on each business personal property parcel. The first $7,700. Historically, I think since 2012, our board has increased that amount on the county's portion of revenues for based on business personal property to $20,000. The first $20,000 of each business personal property account. This year, so we're here to determine what the board wants to set that amount at this year. The assessor has recommended this year he increased to $25,000, which would be an additional revenue loss for the county of approximately $110,000 from what it would be if it was still at $20,000. I think you should have the BSR in there. We list basically the maximum total tax benefit or reduction for each single business personal property account. If it's a $20,000 exemption amount, the benefit is going to be $68. If it's a $25,000 exemption amount, their benefit or reduction, what they would otherwise pay, is $85. So that gives you an idea of what the businesses will be looking at, differences in the exemption amounts. We talked about it, I think, a week ago before exec session on admin. The board was going to make a decision today. I don't know if you have any specific questions for me or Robin that we can answer. I'm happy to entertain those.
Are there any questions?
And I guess I would add the exempt revenue at a $20,000 exemption amount is, so this is a loss to the county. It's $574,000. At the $25,000 exemption amount, it's $685,000-ish. So, any questions?
And I think what we have to do is have a motion to retain or go forward at the same percentage of 20,000, or someone makes the motion to change that to 25,000. Correct?
Correct. I think the motion, unless we have a written motion prepared, and if there's anything, let us know. The motion would be to adopt the resolution approving the property tax exemption and state the amount. Is it the amount of 20,000 or is it the amount of 25,000 when you make the motion? There is a resolution in your packet and there's a blank for the amount because we didn't know what amount that you were going to choose.
Is there discussion?
You can choose a different amount. Sorry to interrupt you. I mean, you can choose a different amount. Those were just historically it's been 20. The assessor recommended 25 this year, but that's your decision.
Okay. Discussion? Or
Madam Chair?
Yes, go ahead, Commissioner Conti.
Yes, I would defer to your vantage point as the only attending member on this board today from the Executive Budget Committee, and what you are seeing from that are coming in from the other departments versus revenues that you're aware of, and I would love to hear something from you on what your thoughts would be.
I think my recommendation, based upon what we have asked for 2021, our 2021 budget request for department directors, is to hold at the 20,000, and we have asked our department directors to really budget as conservatively as they can, and I think this would be part of it. So that's only my personal opinion. It is not the opinion of the Executive Budget Committee, because we have not formally had a recommendation. But considering what we have asked, going forward, that would be my thought and my recommendation.
Madam Chair, this is Commissioner Holland.
Go ahead, Commissioner Holland.
Yeah, I move that we keep the assessment rate at for personal property tax at 20,000.
Motion made by Commissioner Holland. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Conti. Any further discussion? Well, wait a minute. Let me let me just make sure before we vote that, Michelle, is there anyone on the line? This is not a public hearing, but if there's anyone on the line who would like to speak to this, I want to give them the opportunity.
There's no one on the line at this time.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
Can I ask for just a quick clarification from the motion maker that the motion is to adopt the resolution approving the property tax exemption in the amount of $20,000. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. Okay. Any further questions? Not all in favor.
I was going to say my only comment is that we so wish that we could have increased it to 25, but due to an increasingly tightening budget, we are just unable to do so.
I agree with that. Okay. Any other comments or questions?
Madam Chair, I'm sorry. I'll just add that, I appreciate Assessor Kaiser's input on this. He did a good job of helping us in our own minds kind of come to the conclusion, and we wish that we could do that, but I agree. I think we're doing the right thing here, so I will support this.
Thank you, and I agree with that as well. It's a tough thing because this would support our business community in bringing, and I think we would like to do that, but it's just difficult times, and we need to certainly walk the talk that we're asking for others to do. So thank you, Commissioner Baker. Okay, all in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Abstentions? Hearing none, motion passes unanimously. And again, thank you, Assessor Kaiser, for bringing this forward. We'll go on to, our next general business item, which is the County Board of Equalization decisions, personal property. And again, our Assistant County Attorney is Ben Schwartzendruber, and Karen Thompson is with the clerk, is clerk to the Board of Equalization. And I'm not sure who would want to, I guess, Ben, if you would set the foundation, and then would you be doing the presentation on this?
Yes, I will.
Please go ahead. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. So this item is for the board to consider the recommendations of the independent referee it appointed to hear the personal property appeals for tax year 2020 to the CBOE. This year they're normally at the same time as the real property appeals, but due to COVID they were delayed this year, so businesses could get their personal property filings in. Those are handled by Karen Thompson and her assistants last week. And you have before you, I believe, a report on those. There were only, I think, 3 reductions that were granted, and those were for slight reductions based on additional depreciation. The assessor's office and the referee deemed appropriate based on additional information the taxpayers provided. And so we are seeking your approval of the referee's decisions. If you have any questions,
Questions?
able to answer them.
Any questions from commissioners? Hearing none. Michelle, is there anyone on the line for this issue?
Nope, there's no one on the line at this time.
Okay, thank you. And again, this is not public hearing. It's a general business item. So we'll go ahead. Go ahead, Ron.
I'm sorry to jump in. I believe a motion has been emailed to all of you if someone wants to use the motion, the draft motion.
Okay, if someone has the draft motion and would like to go ahead and make a motion, please go ahead.
This is Commissioner Baker.
Go ahead, Commissioner Baker.
It's just the DOE motion. That is correct. Okay, I move to adopt the resolution approving the 2020 Board of Equalization decision for personal property as recommended by the appointed independent referees. Pursuant to Colorado Revised Statutes, Section 39-8-102, Paragraph I, and adopt said recommendations as the final actions of the Arapahoe County Board of Equalization.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Baker, seconded by Commissioner Hoagland. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Abstentions? Hearing none. Motion passes unanimously. And I think that, are there any commissioner comments? Hearing none. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you. The